Good morning, world. So yeah, yesterday Miron was a little sick and unfortunately I couldn't film anything, and today I'm finally back. So I dropped him off at the daycare, and now I already had my English class with Dilbil, and it's been really good actually. It's been really nice. We talked about happiness today, and I really like that because, you know, this is my credo. We say credo in Russian. I don't know how you say it in English, probably the same. And now we gonna go for a little walk with my husband to the beach. I mean, look at my beautiful swimsuit, and yeah, I want to do some pictures so I can post it on my Instagram. And if you still don't follow my Instagram, make sure to follow. Here's the link. Please follow me on Instagram. Please follow me on YouTube. Give a like. Don't forget to comment, because that supports me. And if I see a nice feedback, I always want to do more. So yeah, we're gonna go to the beach. We're gonna have some lunch, and then I'll talk to you later. We'll see what we're gonna do tonight. I don't know, because I was planning to have a nanny today, but unfortunately she canceled last moment. So I don't think the nanny is coming today. So we will probably just, you know, go for dinner with the baby, with my hubby, and just enjoy Miami. Mwah. Love you. See you soon. It's nice lipstick. It makes my teeth super white. Fact check. They checked my ID and did not check his ID.
We know each other.
And he's been talking that he looks exactly the same age as I do. Ha, ha, ha. Honey, that's okay, you know? That's okay to look at your age. That's okay.
I don't look my age.
Okay, you look 5 years younger.
I don't look 5 years younger.
So how old are you?
You look 5 years older.
He checked my ID, honey. That means I look 10 years younger. 10. Minimum. Alright guys, that was a joke between us. So, we are at this really high rated restaurant from, where is it from? Argentina? It's an Argentinian restaurant, and what Argentina is famous for their steaks. Have you been to Argentina, husband?
No, but I want to go to Argentina.
So where you've been from that region? You've been to Brazil, right?
To Brazil, only Brazil.
So let's go to Argentina.
Let's go to Argentina, I'm dying.
Let's
Who's
go.
flying to Argentina? Can we
With
go,
us.
Can we go first class? No?
Comment down below.
I thought we were going to Greece first.
Greece? But I have no visa. I feel like you don't need the visa to Argentina. It's easier to get.
I think you do need visa.
I think it's easier to get to Argentina.
For Russians?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it
That's
is.
good questions. If you're Russian and have Russian passport and been to Argentina,
let us know.
let us know in the comments below. And smash that like button.
And subscribe.
And subscribe.
So yeah, their famous steaks are coming up, and you'll see it. As I promised, steak. A real steak from Argentina, and my husband having a whole steak, stir steak, asparagus salad. I mean, of course, my drink. My husband drinks some wine. Let me try it for you, babes. Should be very yummy. My fork. Actually, do you know that a salad must be eaten with no knife? Did you know that?
Fish too.
No, you have a special fish knife. I mean,
You can't eat fish with it.
there is a special knife for a steak too, by the way. Yo, there is a special knife for a steak. I would say it's a little bit too salty for me, but as I assume, most of the countries love salty food.
Latin countries.
Is it salty for you?
They always over season. Well,
but meat is good. So I went to Pilates class and feeling great. Now it's a Friday night and some Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand is the way to go. Look at this kiddo. I mean, always on iPad. Sorry for that, but this is what we do. But he's eating.
Can you help me?
I mean, he's asking for help, but he's still doing it. Yum! Is it good? It's really good, actually.
No onions.
No onions. And look at this one. As always, screamed at me with no reason.
I did not scream.
You did. I have a baby to prove.
Miron, did I scream at mama? Miron,
Miron.
did I scream at mama? No?
Miron. Miron. Did Papa scream at Mama today? Yes? When? When?
At the car.
He said I did not scream.
He said at the car, honey.
At the car you said it?
Yes, he said at the car. Yes?
Did mama scream at papa at the car? That's the more interesting question.
Do you want to apologize
Absolutely.
for misbehaving?
Absolutely not.
I think you
You're
should.
taking my car away, so no apology.
Okay, so you're taking an Uber tomorrow.
Yes, I'm spending $300
That's fine.
because my wife wants to go eat. I don't know what she wants to eat because she also wants me to cook tonight for her for tomorrow. But she also wants to eat, and we live 5 minutes away from a restaurant. But she does need a car to go there. So we're gonna spend $300 tomorrow on Uber. To save $10, spending $10 on her Uber because Ubers don't have car seats, and apparently it's not a problem in Chicago, but it is a problem in Sunny Isles.
Sushi.
So I'm not apologizing for anything.
Good morning. I don't know what's happening to this kiddo, but he's sick again. He woke up with a temperature. I don't know what it is. It's a freaking fever that does not let him be. So we came, but we're still enjoying it, you know. Since it's vacation, we're drinking some mimosas. Mimosas are the best in the morning on Saturday. It's Sunday, right? Is it Sunday or Saturday?
Saturday.
It's Sunday? No, it's Sunday.
Sunday?
So yeah, we're drinking and look at this beautiful brunch. Omelette, avocado toast, omelette, bacon, and kiddo that is not feeling well. He's still happy and he's enjoying himself, but he's not feeling it. And this Prosecco is delicious. If you've never tried this particular one, it's really good. Highly, highly recommend. I love it. And welcome to Miami Immediate Care. So yeah, we decided to go to Immediate Care because Miron's having fever and it's very random and so weird. And yeah, here we're sitting in a room waiting for the doctor. So they did again a COVID test for him, a rapid test, and they did a strep throat test. And yeah, because he had it strep throat 2 weeks ago, and we used what it's called. We used antibiotics, and maybe that didn't work. I don't know, because anything could be. And yeah, we'll see what doctor says now, because that test will take minimum 15 minutes. So we'll see how it goes, but hopefully he's okay, and it's nothing to worry about, and it's just basic cold, or like, I don't know, because it more looks like it's a regular cold than it's something more. But you know, just to be safe and sure 100% that this is not COVID and like his lungs are okay, because he does breathe, especially in the morning, like very weirdly. And he's potty trained, and I don't know why, but he's been peeing in his pants all day long. He's been super tired, like he doesn't want to really play. All he wants is just to lay down, and that never happens to him. Even if he's like super sick, he's still very playful, and he has a lot of energy. But I don't know, this time it's definitely something else. So anyway, yeah, hopefully the doctor says that all good and we don't have any issues. All right, ciao. Good morning. I mean, say hello to all my friends on my face. This thing, I don't know, this thing has been there for the last 2 weeks, and I've been trying to squeeze it many times, and it's just not coming out. I don't know how to do that. I think I just need to use like what do you call it, a pen to kind of like make a hole first and then squeeze it. But now I have to wait until it heals because it hurts so much. So anyway, good morning. I'm on my way to the Pilates class, ready to go. Today I have 2 classes, finally. I haven't been taking 2 classes for a long time, probably since Los Angeles, which is like 2-3 months. So today I have a flow 2, it's the hardest class, and then I have center and balance, which is like more like a stretching class. And Miron just woke up. I put him on YouTube because my husband wants to have another hour of sleep because he's dropping off him today at school. Plus today, Wednesday, he took a day off because we want to go to the beach. Me and my husband today, we're gonna go to the beach. So finally we can swim in the ocean because it's been so long and we haven't even been to the ocean. So yeah, I'm excited about that. But other than that, Miron has been sick. So he got sick when we were in Chicago. He was taking antibiotics and all of that. And then when we came here, a couple times we went to the swimming pool and he was sick again with just, you know, like a regular cold. So past 3 nights, he's been waking up every night, like 5-6 times per night, coming to our room and like talking to us, saying like that he's not feeling well, that he's hungry, that his tummy hurts, like creating all of it because he's been very uncomfortable with like breathing and stuff. So I think something happened to his nose and he's having like breathing issues, but that's definitely because of the stuffiness in his nose. But the thing is that he has no mucus at all whatsoever. There's like no mucus. So yesterday I used this Russian medicine that my mom brought it from Russia, and today, because of that, he finally slept throughout the night. He woke up once, and yeah, I mean, look at this beautiful morning. God. It's 7:20. The sun is already up. I'm so happy to go to Pilates class, and I'll take you with me. See ya.
They said, don't fall, don't forget all the things you've been taught, you've been told. Don't blink, don't run, don't turn left or turn right or look straight at the sun. My mind's going in circles, I'm trying to fight it, getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Going to the place where all this began, just start again. Oh, you won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall first to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be
Очень красиво. Напилась, блин, теперь порнуху устраиваешь. Welcome. So this is one of the beach clubs in South Miami, South Beach, Miami. It's called Nikki Beach. You can get a table. You can also get one of those like bungalows, whatever. But we've decided to get one. This is what it looks like. But we've decided to get, we actually got chairs on the beach because we wanted to be on the beach today. So we spent most of the time on the beach until my friend showed up, who actually moved from New York to Chicago. I'm sorry, Chicago to Miami with his wife. Well, so you can get one of these cabanas here. And this is like a very typical Miami along the beach, this walk that people just like running, chilling. And this is the entrance. This is the entrance to the beach. As you can see, Yoldu's just ahead. Weather was fantastic today. It's a little like waves, but it's okay. You can see cruise liners are staying there. Yeah, so pretty chill. And they have full service. You can get food, you can get drinks on the beach, which we did, as you witnessed. Yeah, so I think it's already 4 o'clock, so we probably have another 30 minutes, and we have to go back, pick up Miron from school, and then Yulia has other stuff going on. So I think our day has come to an end, but it was very beautiful. We just enjoyed the sun. It was fantastic. You know, Miami is rocking. If I had an opportunity to move here, I probably would. But now we're going to the beach and we're going to swim. So, peace, love.
Are you okay? Good morning, world. So today we are finally back to Chicago. Yeah, we came back yesterday, and honestly, I didn't have a chance to, not even a chance, I didn't have any feelings, and I don't know, I lost everything. I just couldn't film anything when we were in Florida, and hopefully I'll be back. I mean, yeah, this week I'm planning to do a video for my Russian channel about new stuff that I purchased. Obviously, I'm gonna show you as well everything I purchased, but it's gonna be like all separated sit-down video. So yeah, this is a Memorial Day weekend. Monday, no one is working. Miron is still a little bit sick. Hopefully he'll go to the daycare on Tuesday. And yeah, I need to go to Zara to pick up my clothes and do that video finally. I mean, in general, do everything. Plus, my camera is not working properly. I'll probably need to buy a new camera as well. I'm gonna try a new Sony something. It should be a nice camera. I'm gonna try that one and I'll let you know what I think. Good morning, world. Finally, we're back. We're back to Chicago. I mean, we came back on Saturday, and then on Sunday, my nanny quit. It's a long story, but let's make it short. We asked her to stay in our apartment to watch the cats. And she's from like a very small town in like almost a third world country. Right? I mean, not almost, it is a third world country. And unfortunately, she probably never lived in those type of scenarios. And when we came back after 2 weeks, she told me that she wants to make her life better. Which is mean that she just, you know, tasted. She was like, oh, it feels nice. Maybe I can get it too. So what I can say, I'm happy that I inspired her to achieve a better life, but of course I'm not happy because she left me. So now we have no nanny, but you know, Miron is going to the daycare during the week, and during the weekend I'm gonna try to find somebody. Hopefully I will. So this morning Miron woke up extremely early, 5 a.m. Oh my god, like I cannot deal with that. It is so early. 5 a.m. it's like, I don't know. But you know what, the issue that here in Chicago during the summer, day starts super early. So it was 5:30 and it was already super bright, like the sun was rising. And it also gets dark super late. And during the winter it's completely opposite. So he woke up, he walked into the room, so I had to wake up, go make him breakfast and everything. But at least I had a time to do stuff. So I posted my new vlog in English. I also posted a Russian video that I was doing yesterday, and I cleaned the apartment. I played with my cats. I cleaned Miron's room, and I also, what else did I do? I put it some washing, some whatever, and yeah. I mean, now, as you see, I'm ready to go to my Pilates class. It's gonna start in 30 minutes, so I have to probably head out. After Pilates, I was planning to go back to Zara, because I went to Zara, I bought a bunch of clothes, and I literally gonna return everything, because I just don't like it. It looks so ugly. So I'm gonna return pretty much everything that I bought. I also had a shipping from Russia, from this very famous in Russia Russian brand. It's called You Wanna, with a bunch of clothes. Oh my god, that clothes, because I was opening at the same time, but those Russian clothes are so beautiful, and obviously you'll see during my vlogs. I'm gonna tell you here and there which was what. And but Zara is just, if you're comparing like this mass market Zara and then this Russian brand that is like, it's all about details and like quality, it's like dream come true. So, but I'm not going to Zara now. I'm coming back home. I'm gonna have an English class, and after my English class I will go and meet my girlfriend Anastasia. She's a model here in Chicago, and yeah, you'll see her. Hopefully you'll see her. So I'll see you soon, babes. Ciao. Let's go. Oh my god, the weather is so beautiful. It's plus 18 Celsius, which is like 65, I think. It's gonna be plus 19. It's really nice outside. So you guys coming with me to my day. Let's go. What's up, yo? Finished my workout. I mean, this is how warm it is. You can see it. Me being almost naked. Next week is gonna be 90 Fahrenheit. It's amazing. This particular workout that I do every week with this particular trainer is probably one of the hardest. Although the level is the same, but just it all depends on a teacher, and it all depends on type of work that they do. So this particular teacher at this particular studio is probably one of this, like, I wouldn't say crazy, but she is kind of crazy. Like the amount of work and how hard it is, it's pretty damn crazy, yo. Anyway, all right, I'm running home. I canceled my English class because unfortunately I completely forgot that we're on different time right now, because we were in LA and I thought the class will start at 11, and we're in Chicago, so class was starting at 10, and of course I completely forgot about that. So I had to cancel my class, so there's no English today, but we're still going to the lunch with my girlfriend at 1 o'clock. And here's my look of the day. So that's the top that I was talking about that came to me straight from Russia. Look at this, how cute is this top? So it has this big giant pattern shoulders, and this is from this brand. It's called You Wanna. So that is a Russian brand that I really like, and most of their clothes actually are just made for me, I feel like. Then those culottes, shorts, whatever you name them, pants, they made out of vegan leather. Although it's really hard to say if it's vegan leather or it's real leather. So they're very nice. They fit me so well. Like I personally like it so much, the way they fit. And yeah, and I paired it with my H&M earrings that I had for like 10 years or something. They're actually made out of plastic, but they look so good. They look like something legit. My kitten is crying over there. I'm also gonna take this back with me. Here's one cat, she's playing with the vacuum. Here's another cat that's stuck in a room. Hello. Hello, kitten. And they are still not friends. See? I mean, at least they started to play with each other and like running around, but see? That's maximum you can see or hear. Zena is a sweetie pie, but she doesn't like our kitten. This one is not a sweetie pie, but she likes Zena. So that works. I mean, you see. Let's see, are they gonna fight now? A little bit? Telling you. I'm telling you. But the little one knows that Zena is the boss. See? Like, I'm the boss, and you do what I say. So yeah, guys, on the way to the lunch. But before, I need to stop by Zara, because I purchased like $400 clothes, like worth of clothes, and none of them were good. Like, I'm gonna return everything, beside one jacket, and beside one jacket for Miron. One jacket for me, one jacket for Miron. And that is all. Welcome. This is the famous burger from Maple. See, I've never been here. Maple&ash. And that place is the most famous place in Chicago and the most favorite place of my friend Anastasia.
Yes, it is.
Anastasia, tell me why.
They just have the most amazing food and ambiance.
Which is the most important.
Which is the most
better than food.
It's a very sexy restaurant, and usually it's a very sexy crowd.
Wow. So what's the best night to come here?
Probably on the weekend. I would
Weekend?
say.
What about Friday? So Friday?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday is like the night.
What about lunch? Who comes here for lunch?
I think I actually don't come here for lunch very often, but I think
Just whoever lives here?
whoever lives in the area.
So if you want to book a table here, how long in advance do you need to do it?
very far in advance. Actually,
Really?
They're about a month out.
Are you serious?
They are.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
For dinner, right? For like a dinner weekend. Weekend
For dinner weekend, yes. So it's not very easy to get reservations.
Wow.
And they're famous for their seafood tower, which is not chilled, it's smoked.
There's like a smoky machine, right?
No. So like the seafood is actually cooked, but it has like the smoky aftertaste. And once you finish the tower,
They bring you another one for free.
They bring you, it's called I Don't Give a Fuck. That's what the seafood tower is called. And then they bring you pasta. And they dump the pasta inside the sauce and then they mix it.
Oh.
So it's very good.
And how many people should share that dish?
I think the seafood tower is probably good at least for 5 people.
And how much it costs?
I think it's under 200.
$200? Oh, for 5? It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
for
get
5 it's
everything.
okay.
You get like lobster,
All kinds of
mussels,
seafood.
scallops, all kinds of stuff.
Nice. Okay, so try the burger and tell me what you think.
Oh my gosh.
The model?
I have to cut my burger.
The model eats the burger.
I have to cut my burger.
This is not my style. I don't do that.
I know you don't do that. But,
I do the wild style.
the wild style. Alright. I'll try the burger.
Because she never tried it before. And you've been here, what, like a million times?
It's very good.
It's very good.
Very juicy.
Bon appetit.
Not looks like a tree, or cushy food, cushion like a
Can you see this? This is a toilet, and they tell you how to pronounce the brands.
Givenchy. Try your best French accent. Not Givenchy.
Not Givenchy. Givenchy.
Giambattista Valli.
Giambattista Valli.